So we know one of the numbers is 51. So we need to know which wheel that is associated with. It could be any of the wheels. We can see on the camera that it is wheel 1, or sorry, wheel 3, the last digit. So the high-low test will tell us which wheel that number is associated with. And what we do is we're going to be taking, basically, if we have our wheels, let's just do our all wheels left. So this is where we found the gate at everything at 51. And what we're going to do is basically do our left and right contact points. We've only been doing the sloped right one, but we'll be doing both of them. And what we're going to do for the high-low test, well, the high test, let's just look at the high test. High and low test are basically the same thing. Just one of them, you knock a wheel off in the positive direction, and the other one you knock in a negative direction. So by that, all our wheels, like I'm showing all the wheels at 51. What we're going to do for the high-low test is first take wheel 1 and move it from 51 to 61 and take our readings. And we're going to put them all back to 51. We're going to take wheel 2, move it to 61. So wheel 1 and 3 are at 51, wheel 2 at 61. Take our readings. Then we're going to go back to moving wheel 3 to 61, and wheel 1 and 2 stay at 51. And by looking at the contact points in those, we're going to find that when we knock one of those wheels off, suddenly the wheel pack is going to get higher. And that's because that gate is no longer underneath the fence. So based on the information, when we do these measurements, we'll be able to tell which wheel is indicating the gate. So let's start. It's easier to see this in practice. Let's just start at all wheels left. This isn't part of the test, but let's just look at where we are. We are all wheels left at 51. And if we do a measurement here, we are at about 48. So we'd write that down for all wheels left at 51. And then you can't see it because it's off screen, but I'm going to take a contact point in the other one, and it is 79. Great. So that isn't part of the test, but that is where our starting with, which we found for the all wheels left. So now the first thing we're going to do is take wheel 1, which is the bottom one you can see closest to the safe door, and we're going to change it to 61, and wheel 2 and 3 at 51. So the easiest way to do that is pick up all the wheels and set them all to 61. Then pick up wheel 3, pick up wheel 2, and put them both at 51. So that's a really quick dial. But right now, wheel 3 and 2 are at 51, and wheel 1 we've knocked off by 10 to 61. So we're going to do our readings again. And our gate's still there, so we're going to still get we're going to get indications that this is still a low point in the wheel. It's a little hard to tell what that is, but I'm going to say it is 48.5. And again, we're going to do the other contact point, which you can't really see. And it is again at 79. Now, we've written that down. We're still indicating a gate. So it is probably not wheel 1 that is showing us that is where the gate is, because we've knocked it off. The gate, if there was a gate on wheel 1, we wouldn't be reading it anymore, and we are reading a gate. So it's not wheel 1. And we'll show that more mathematically, but let's go to wheel 2. So what we're going to do, we have to do full dialing on this one. So we'll do 51, pick up one wheel, pick up second wheel, and dial it to 61. And then pick up a wheel and set it at 51. So we still have our gate. So when we do these measurements, we're not going to find much difference. So again, let's say that's about 48.5. And if we do a other contact point, that's about 78. And finally, we are going to do just knock wheel 3 off. So we're going to start at 51. All wheels. Let's just show we're doing all wheels at 51 because this is another cheater that we can do. We're just knocking off wheel 3, so we can just pick up wheel 3 and move it to 61. And then do our contact points. And now you can see there isn't a gate underneath the fence. So now when we do our tests, we're now seeing numbers about 46. 46. Maybe 45 and a half. We'll call it 45.5. And then our other contact point is now quite a bit. It is at 82. So we can see both contact points are now indicating a higher wheel pack. And that indicates that when we threw off, the gate's no longer underneath. We threw off wheel 3, the gate's no longer underneath it. Suddenly the pack got higher. That would indicate to us that wheel 3 is what is the gate, is the where that gate we found is. And that's basically what the high-low test is. You throw one wheel off at a time. It's called a high test because you're making the numbers higher. Okay, we're doing the low test, which means that we're going to be knocking our wheels, the one wheel that we're changing in the lower number. So in this case, we showed it all wheels left to be 51, so we're going to be dialing at 41. So let's do the first one, which we'll do all wheels to 41, and we'll pick up 2 wheels, 1, 2, and we will place both those wheels at 51. And then we'll go to our readings. Oh, this is actually got a fairly strong reading at 49. So I'm going to write that down. And then I'm going to go to the other contact point, and it is at 79. And now we're going to be just jogging the middle one to 41. So it'll be 51. This one you have to do a full dial, so we'll do 51. Followed by, we'll pick up one wheel. We'll pick up 2 wheels. And then we'll leave this one at 41. Let's dial that again. I messed that one up. So we'll do all wheels to 51. Pick up one wheel, pick up the second wheel, and we are going to 41. I dialed past it last time. And then we will pick up one wheel and go to 51. And do our measurements. That's about 48. And if we go back over here, we are at 78, 79, I should say. So, and we're still indicating a gate, and there's a gate under the fence. So now we are going to do the just moving wheel 3. So we'll set all wheels to 51. This is a quick dial. And we'll just pick up the wheel number 3 and put it at 41. And hey, look, the gate's no longer underneath there, so we'll expect this to indicate, yeah, we are 46 something, maybe 46 and a half. let's call it 46. And then the other contact point is 83. Wow, 83. So this also indicates that when we moved wheel 3, suddenly our wheel pack got higher. Both the left and the right contact points showed that. So this is a very clear indication that we got a clear indication on our graph that 51 was a gate, and then we did our high test. That indicated that it was wheel 3, and we did our low test, which also indicated strongly that it was wheel 3. So that's basically what a high-low test does. Sometimes when you do a high-low test, it doesn't give you such a nice view of what's happening. It doesn't give you the numbers as you might quite expect. And what you need to do is just look at how wide that contact area is. So the sloped one will give you a reading, and the other side of the contact point will give you another reading. And if you look at the dial up here, the one that gives you the smallest area between the smallest amount between the two contact points is the one the one that when you're looking at a gate, the gate will have the smallest contact point, but when you're doing the high-low test, you'll usually find that two of them are indicating, hey, there's a gate there, and then one, which means it has a very small contact area. The contact area will be smaller because both the right contact, the sloped contact, will be smaller, indicating lower number, and the right contact point will be also indicating a higher number. So the contact area on the dial, the area, the amount of numbers between the left and the right contact will be smaller for two of them and larger for one of them. And the one that's larger, because there's no gate underneath that's indicating a higher wheel pack, is the gate that the number that you are looking for, the gate is on. So it's it's we'll be looking at more examples of it. So I just wanted to give you an indication of what's happening there for a high-low test.